Netflix is learning an important lesson in get woke, go broke. Now, get woke, go broke isn't a law. I always say this. It's not absolute. Some woke stuff does work, but it's a tendency. And when a company experiences it, we call it out. And this may be why Netflix is on track for the biggest stock drop in a decade after shedding 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter. Now, according to the Daily Mail, viewers say it's because there's nothing to watch, it's too expensive, and there's no interest in Harry and Meghan's lectures. I do not believe that is the principal reason as to why Netflix is experiencing a massive plunge in subscribers. I think the issue is Netflix likes shows about child inappropriate circumstances. Netflix made a movie, or I shouldn't say made, but published a movie called Cuties. Everybody was really disgusted by, and the left seemed to defend. But this all falls in line with what we saw the other day with Jon Stewart. Now, I'd like you to take a look at this. Market summary, Netflix Inc. Oof. Absolutely brutal. Yesterday at 4 p.m., from $348.42 tanking to $259.40 about. Elon Musk. He thinks he knows the answer. Elon Musk blames the woke mind virus for making Netflix unwatchable after it lost 200,000 subscribers and shares dipped 25%. Streaming giant looks at cheaper ad-supported version to boost customer base. Oh yeah, they're trying everything they can. They're also coming out and saying that it's password sharing. That's what's causing all of this, password sharing. So I don't have Netflix. I do, there are people here who do have Netflix, but I don't. I don't care for Netflix. I don't really watch it all that much. Even when it comes to shows that might be on Netflix, I typically will use like Amazon Prime, which I also don't like all that much. Sometimes I'll just put on YouTube TV, but I'm really just sick of the whole thing, just all of it. There are no good shows. There's no culturally unifying shows, nothing to rally around because our culture has fractured to the point where no one's making anything that I think is particularly good. I am excited to go see some movies like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That's coming out in a couple of weeks. But even that risks being woke trash. I don't care about your platitudes. I don't care about your message, your pandering. Oh, just show me dinosaurs fighting robots or something. Password sharing. Here's the funny thing. CNBC says Netflix estimates 100 million households are sharing passwords and suggests a global crackdown is coming. They said more than 100 million global households shared with more than 30 million of those in the US and Canada. Is that I just got to look. They said they're going to make accounts that share passwords pay up. Yeah, password sharing is a thing. Look at this. In this article, Netflix is down 28.4% overnight. Woohoo! Let me just tell you. I will watch Netflix sometimes because other people have logged in. I will not sign up for Netflix. There is nothing on Netflix I want to watch. But let's throw it over to Elon Musk and see what he's talking about. And I will make this point. I believe this is get woke, go broke. I'll give you an example. There was a show on Netflix called The Order. That show is now gone. It got 2 seasons and then they canceled it because that's what Netflix does. Now, I'm not entirely convinced this show was going to save them either, but I liked this show. And there was something interesting about it. The second season villains were communists, like actually communists. Like they go into the guy's house and they're like, look, and they show like books on like Marxism and stuff. And I'm like, okay, like it's refreshing to finally get a piece of content where it's like fascists aren't the bad guys. This is the funny thing about Harry Potter. Harry Potter comes out, long time ago. And the villain is basically Wizard Hitler. Voldemort is like, I want pure blood wizards, blah. And it's like, okay, we understand why like racial supremacy is bad. And then after the series concludes and we're like, they've defeated the evil, Nazi wizards, then J.K. Rowling makes Fantastic Beasts, where they're like, actually, there's a whole nother fascist wizard who believes in pure. Okay, you know what, dude? Come on. Give me something unique and original for once. Other ideologies did bad things. There can be other motivations for evil. Instead of just always having the villains be like, I'm evil and want to harm a large group of a specific person, of specific people. It's like, I like, a Freeze from Batman. He's like, I want to save my wife and I'll kill anybody who gets in my way. I'm like, there's motivation. It seems like all they have is to be like fascists. So when they do this show, I'm like, okay, I can dig it. But honestly, It doesn't need to be that overt, although the messaging was in it. And I wonder if Netflix was like, let's try going after, communists and see if that rallies people. But even that doesn't work. Have you tried just, I don't know, making good shows? All right, well, here's the story from the Daily Mail. Elon Musk has slammed Unwatchable Netflix for becoming infected by the woke mind virus. The company lost 200,000 users between January and March this year, with causing their shares to plummet 25%, now, of course, 28.43%. The service is now proposing introducing adverts and stopping password sharing to stem the exodus, it is trialing in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru in a bid to clamp down on the estimated 10 million households who use someone else's account. So you're saying that I should pay for your service and get ads? What is this, Hulu? I don't have Hulu either. Actually, I might have Hulu. I don't use Hulu. I'll put it that way. The tech firm has pinned the blame on the emergence from binge watching during the lockdown. The success of rival platforms, Disney Plus, Apple TV, and now TV Warner Bros. Discovery, and Apple TV, Now TV. Oh, okay, it's the thing. Warner Bros. Discovery and Paramount, the cost of living crisis, and pulling out of Russia in response to Putin's horrific invasion of Ukraine. Thanks for the adjective. This is not an op-ed. Calm down. Though Netflix has released a variety of recent hits, including Squid Game, Bridgerton, Sex Ed, it has also produced woke content such as He's Expecting, which depicts a man who becomes pregnant. Interesting. I have no interest in watching such a film or series. And with that being said, I'd like to give an honorable mention to Junior, featuring Arnold Schwartz. You can't say this guy's name on YouTube. I'm sorry. It was funny. I can't even say. Someone made the joke that, actually someone did this. They were talking about Arnold. I usually just say Arnold so you know who I'm talking about, because you can't say his name. And the reason you can't say his name is that the YouTube algorithm will hear the last, couple syllables of Arnold's last name and you'll get flagged. I'm not even kidding. So people have started calling him Arnold Schwarzen N-word. I'm not even kidding. I find it hilarious, actually. That's the modern era of censorship. Arnold Schwarzen N-word. Because if you say his last name, you know what's going to happen. But anyway, he had a movie called Junior where he got pregnant. I really don't think it's a big deal that they're making a movie where guys start getting pregnant. The issue is they actually say cis and all that stuff. And so I ain't going to watch it. I don't want to watch it. If you come to me and you're like, here's a movie and it's probably woke, I'll be like, dude, I just don't want to waste the time anymore. I liked The Craft in the 90s, where the witches do the witch stuff. And so when the new Craft came out, I was like, I'll check it out. I'm a 36-year-old man. I think I was like 35 or whatever, 34 when it came out. But I was like, I'll check it out. I'll see what they're doing. And I was just like, wow, this is really bad. They put a spell on a guy and make him gay. Okay, I don't want to watch that. All right, look, here's how I put it. If you guys want to watch all that stuff, like y'all woke people, I got no beef. You can go watch whatever show you want, play whatever video game you want. I just won't. Don't get mad at me if I don't want to do it. Let's think about getting woke and going broke in video games when the sales plummet. I think Battlefield, it's supposed to be like World War I or something, and it's got a pink-haired woman with a cybernetic arm or something like that. And it's a trans-abled, pink-haired woman, and who do you think's buying this game? They're like, we just assume that's what young people are. And then people don't buy the game. I don't know who y'all are marketing to or what kind of product you're trying to make, but let me just put it this way. Wokeness is fracturing everything. And so one of the reasons I think they're losing subscribers is not necessarily because they're getting woke, but it's because they're marketing to a smaller and smaller group of people. Perhaps there is an upper limit. Look, Timcast has a certain degree of growth, and then things slow down. We had a massive explosive growth, and then things slow down. Maybe there's a finite amount of people who agree with our worldview. It used to be that everyone in this country we watched the same news channels, so we agreed on mostly the same values, but now things are kind of breaking apart. Maybe there will be a smaller cap and disparate, fractured communities. They're going to say, the company has also been forced to borrow $16 billion in a decade to cover its production and business costs. Oof. Responding to a tweet, Elon Musk said the woke mind virus is making Netflix unwatchable. A follower then responded, woke mind virus is the biggest threat to the civilization. And Elon Musk said, yes. Well, all right then. I'd like to show you why I think Netflix. Okay, well, He's Expecting. This was funny because last night, this was funny. People were like, Netflix's stock is tanking because they launched a movie called He's Expecting. All right, this show is I don't think it's about trans people. It's about, for some reason, all of a sudden men start getting pregnant. I don't care. They made Junior in the 90s. The idea is like funny to people. I don't want to watch it. I'm sick of hearing about this. The pregnant man emoji and all that stuff. I'm just like, dude, it is too thick. I just don't care. Show me a dude firing a flaming arrow into the heart of a dragon. I don't want to think about this stuff anymore. It's funny when Arnold does it one time because it wasn't beating you over the head with messaging. It was like, hey, here's a funny movie where a guy gets pregnant. It's like the movie's about a scientist who decides to try and carry a baby or whatever. I don't know, he doesn't have a womb or something, but I don't know where he puts in his butt maybe. But this movie, or it's a show, is coming out at a time where we are repeatedly just being beaten over the head with people screaming in our ears. And I'm just like, shut up, dude. I want to see a wizard throw a fireball. I don't want to hear about this. There's no big political conflict over wizards. Or I guess maybe there could be. I don't know, maybe there was something with Harry Potter and like religious families being like, witchcraft is evil. But that wasn't that big in the news, and I didn't pay attention. Just give me entertainment. Let me get away from all of this stuff. They don't do it. It's never ending. They just keep hitting you over the head with it. And I'm just like, yo, I'm done. Squid Games was fun. And I love how the left was like, it's anti-capitalist. And I'm like, yo, the show is literally anti-communist. And then they got all mad and like, Tim's so dumb, he thinks it's anti-communist. Like, yes, explain to me how in communism, a large group of people are forced to all wear the same clothes, start at the same starting point, and then try and race to survive. And that is not capitalism. Capitalism has people starting from all... So I'll put it this way. People keep saying Squid Games was a critique of capitalism. Yeah, I can understand that to a certain degree. They're like, rich people are exploiting the poor. Communism does the same thing. The party exploits the workers. That's what we've seen every time. And they're like, but that's not real communism. Well, then your critique isn't real capitalism, so shut up. In Squid Games, you have all of these people playing red light, green light. But they all start at the same point. That's interesting. Wouldn't in capitalism there be a critique of people inheriting wealth or people being oppressed? Wouldn't there then be people starting halfway to the finish line? Yeah, that would be capitalism under the leftist critique. They do this thing where they do the privilege check where they're like, okay, we're going to race everybody, stand at the starting line. Now, if you're white, take a step forward. If you're Christian, take a step forward. If you're a man, take a step forward. If you're under the age of, 25, take a step forward. If you are black, take a step back. If you make less money, take a step back. If you're Muslim, take a step back. They do that so that before the race starts, I'm not like, this is literally how they do these privilege check things. You'll have, the underprivileged minorities pushed all the way back and like white male Christians all the way to the front. That's not what Squid Games was. Squid Games was everyone start wearing the exact same clothes, barely getting food. That's the other funny thing. In between the games, they have to go and like they're given food, but they're barely given food and they have to like, they fight for it. I'm like, yo, that's what communism was like. In capitalism, we have fat homeless people. If anything, they'd be like, welcome to capitalism. Everybody eat until you're full. And then people would gorge themselves and then fail the next game. Anyway, I digress. This is what the left thinks. They don't seem to understand. Squid Games was a critique of communism. Everybody loved it. Just saying it's capitalism makes literally no sense. Oh, but the guy who made it said it was a critique of capitalism. Yes, because these leftists don't know what capitalism is. So I wonder then. People are like, wow, a world in which powerful elites force everybody into equal footing and then starve them and then make them struggle to survive. That's capitalism. And then I'm just like, dude, have you walked down a street in a downtown city and seen the morbidly obese homeless people? Not every homeless person is morbidly obese, but we have fat homeless people. Our problems are different. Our problems is allocation of resources. More houses, less food, I guess. But that ain't communism. In communism, people don't have houses and they don't have food. Funny. And that's what it was like in Squid Games. But let's talk about why Netflix is outside of me ranting about Squid Games. Let me show you this. Deadline says, Big Mouth renewed for season 7 by Netflix. Spinoff Human Resources picked up for season 2. I don't know or care about Human Resources. I can only just tell you Big Mouth has been renewed for season 7. Okay, we're going to launch the Timcast. It's called an OTT app, over the top. These are pro apps that run on like smart TVs, on Roku and stuff, and we're working on it. Right now, we're working on the mobile app. These things take some time, but maybe I think we might ramp up production to get our television app to get on like LG, Sony, Apple TV, Roku, etc., so that you can watch a plethora of timcast.com programming on your app help people become members, make it easier for everybody. And, so we're working on all that. When I saw Big Mouth for the first time, I was like, I no longer want to subscribe to Netflix. Big Mouth is supposed to be for adults, but I find it's creepy. It is cartoons of children going through puberty and engaging in overtly, let's just call it reproductive acts. Okay. If this is what Netflix is renewing, 7 seasons. So first of all, they've been critiqued for a few reasons. Netflix actually has on YouTube a cartoon of a bunch of naked little girls walking around surrounded by a bunch of naked women. And they're like, it's about body positivity, so it's okay. And I'm like, dude, sure. But at what point are we like, you shouldn't have mainstream shows with 10-year-old girls walking around naked, surrounded by a bunch of naked women, as they explain sex to them? Like, why would an adult want to watch that? Why are 30-year-old men watching a show like that? I don't know, I guess. There's even an episode where they literally show the children engaging in, they frequently do this, show the kids engaging in what I can only call adult activities. And I'm like, this show's messed up. That's just me, whatever. But I got no problem saying this show is absolutely effed. And it's got 7 seasons. Then you got Cuties. Now they're like, Cuties is a critique of the sexualization of minors. But we do have an extended scene where we do that. And we literally do it the whole film. And it's just like, people don't like that. You want to know why you're losing subscribers? First, let me tell you, I canceled. Because I was like, Netflix is nasty. Creepy garbage. It's just not good. There's not good stuff on it. House of Cards was good. Nobody likes Kevin Spacey anymore. Show got bad later on, though, and then they got rid of Kevin Spacey because that dude's kind of a creep. But either way, Netflix had its run. Now there's a whole bunch of other services. I subscribe to a couple. I'm not going to get Disney Plus after next year, but before the Xinjiang thing that happened, where like they thanked the security forces behind the concentration camps, I had already signed up for a year, so I still have it. But I will be not having it, moving forward. But it's there. I got Paramount Plus, but really, there's nothing on that to watch either. HBO Max, maybe. I like the DC shows. I like the DC stuff, so I might keep HBO Max. But the reality is, all of the shows they're just bad. They're derivative. There's nothing funny about them. I think Rick and Morty's a funny show, but that's on, Cartoon Network, and it's basically free. I think it's on HBO Max, too. But this is what they want to make. They want to make shows like Cuties. Or movies like Cuties. They want to make shows like Big Mouth. And I'm just like, something is deeply wrong with you people. Even Family Guy. Our culture is in decay. And here's what I think is going to happen. I don't like Big Mouth. Apparently, a lot of people really like it. Apparently, so many people like it that Netflix has decided to renew it for a 7th season. But could it just be that Netflix is like, hey, we're getting 500,000, viewers per episode on the show. Yeah, maybe it's 500,000 pedos or something. There's a YouTuber, I'm not going to say who makes these videos of like, I don't want to call out the YouTuber, but it's obviously like you're attracting pedos to this content. It's a woman who's like, an adult, but just because the show is doing well doesn't mean it's something you should make. I'll put it that way, because you're probably attracting disgusting people. And if you want to make money off them, fine. But this is too far. It's just absolutely vile content. And they make a bunch of this stuff. So what I think, we used to have like The Simpsons, and we all kind of just watched it. The ratings were huge. People watched Big Bang Theory. Now, everything's kind of breaking apart. There's going to be 10% of people want to watch a show like this, 10% a show like that. You're not going to have deeply unifying content. Netflix has reached its upper limit. It's going to be flattened out by the expansion of other streaming services. I think that's the real issue here, is that with the launch of all these other streaming services, people are like, why would I watch Netflix? Not only that, like the Marvel shows like Jessica Jones, great show, by the way. Season 2 kind of was a bummer. But Daredevil was good, and The Punisher was good. Luke Cage was good. Those are all on Disney Plus now. So it's basically turning into internet cable, where it was like you got to spend $80 a month for cable, and then you want the premium channels, you got to get the 120 package. That's basically what it is. Now it's like it's $10 for Hulu, it's $10 for Netflix, it's $10 for Amazon Prime, it's $10 for Paramount Plus, and you're spending $80 once again to get all these services. And then worse still, They put commercials in them. And then worse still, you get stuff like this with Big Mouth. Yo, I don't know who wants to watch a disgusting show like that. I don't care. Maybe you do. That's on you. I think it's nasty. And this is one of the reasons I'm like, when people called out cuties, I was like, have you ever seen Big Mouth? The first time I saw it, I was at a party and they had it on in the background, and a 12-year-old boy just it was called Self-Gratifies, and they show it, and I'm just like, what? Like not overtly, but they show enough, and I'm like, what? What are you watching? Why is this on Netflix? Whatever, man. It's funny because the show Arthur. I think it finally ended. Arthur the Aardvark. I knew people who are like, I don't know, it's a weird show, but you can just watch it. Like you get your kids and they put it on and they're like, I like kids shows where there's jokes that adults get, but it's not like Big Mouth. And so the kids can watch, say, like a giraffe, fight dragons, or, like Fairly Odd Parents was funny. And there were a lot of memes that came out of that. This is where I would keep my trophy if I had one. And then there's a meme. It's like, this is where I would keep my whatever if I had one. And Fairly Odd Parents was overtly for kids, but it was silly enough for an adult to watch and be like, it's funny. That's how they used to do kids shows. They used to make it so that the adults would understand certain jokes or that it was, silly. And then the kids would be able to watch it because it wasn't like this. So what is this cartoon about? Why would adults want to watch 12-year-olds doing something like this? I don't know. There does seem to be a strange overlap between children doing adult things and the woke. Sure. Yeah. Someone else tweeted, not just Netflix, movies in general, video games, TV, it's all infested with current year trend woke garbage for fear of offending a green-haired freak next to the ban button. Nothing original anymore except for media coming out of places like Japan or Korea, ironically. Elon Musk says true. We're going to do that. We're going to do that here at timcast.com. With your support at timcast.com, we're going to make journalism, we're going to make culture. That's why we launched Pop Culture Crisis. I was like, we need a show that engages with this stuff, but isn't beating over the head political, because I'm sick of it. It's like, let's just talk about why movies are bad, why movies are good, and then maybe we'll get a good review. And it's like Sonic 2. Hey, that was fun. I liked Sonic the Hedgehog, that movie. They did a great job. And there's diversity in it. The main character, it's like James Marsden, and the woman, it's like, she's black, but it doesn't matter. It's not even a point. It's not even anything to bring up. They're just people who are, who are together. That's how woke was supposed to be. It's supposed to be good stories, fun plots, and jokes, and the messaging is just in the background. I'm totally fine with that. That's what we need more of. So Netflix, welcome to Get Woke, Go Broke. But how about we also say Netflix is Get Pedo, Go Broke as well, you creepy MFers. Seriously, I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.